Hi there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alison, and if this is your first time here, then welcome. If you're returning, then thank you so much for coming back. So last week I spoke about, I'm shaking the camera, I'm so sorry. Last week I spoke about consistency and how it's important to be consistent with children. And I want to kind of follow on that theme today and talk about building a community. And I found this more than ever during the pandemic, that it is important that we build a community with the children that we work with. So through our consistency comes community. And that community isn't just with the children, but it is with our team members as well. And so lots of people are finding it very difficult, obviously, because they're terrified. They don't know what this means for them if they catch coronavirus. There's people that kids especially, who are picking up on their parents, who are worrying or anxious because they might lose their job, they might not have money to pay rent or the mortgage next month. So there's a lot of problems like that. Then they might be in a job at the moment, but are we hitting a recession? Will things get worse before they get better? What is going to happen? And so children pick up on that. And so with our consistency with God, we can help these children to build a community as well. So we can be there as an additional support to these children and their families. And so how do we do that? Well, we contact them. So one of the things that we try to do is we try to text message out, because I don't want to be too intrusive with families. If possible, go out and visit them. We have purposefully gone and taken resources to each family rather than have them come and pick it up, so that there is that point of contact and the opportunity for team members to chat. Another thing that we did was that we divided all the children that come to our sessions between all the team members, so we have our own little group of kids that we're there to look out for. And so they can contact the parents, they've got the parents' phone number, they can give them a ring, they can text them. But it's not just me as the leader that has this job to do. My encouragement is that all the team members participate in connecting with the kids that they are overseeing and their families, and making sure that they're okay, and then reporting back, there's a family that is struggling with this, can we help them in some way? And absolutely, if we can help, we go and help. And that is building a community, because then what happens is we become our point of contact, and they're like, these guys are constant, they're always there, they never quit, waver, they don't give up, they keep going. And that's one thing that has really spoken to me in the last 12 months. Now, we were really fortunate as a ministry to be able to receive a grant in 2019 towards my salary and towards our summer camp. Now, our summer camp didn't take place because of COVID last year, and the job that I wanted to be doing and got the salary for, I couldn't do because the schools were closed. And so we've put everything in a stipend, and we've just kept the money in our bank account. But we had to report back to the grant organisation and tell them what we had done. And I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to ask for the money back. I was a little bit concerned. But it wasn't until I sat down and wrote this report, which I wasn't very good at. I'm grateful to my trustees and chair, because they kept making me rewrite things until it sounded really good. But it wasn't until I took that time to reflect on what we'd actually done in the pandemic that I realised that we'd evolved and changed, and that we were still being consistent. So we were consistent in that we were there every week. And in fact, we were there every single day during our first lockdown in the UK. And we've been there every week. In fact, we didn't take half term off last term. We worked the whole term because we wanted to show consistency to these children and build a community. And what I've seen with these children that come week in, week out to our Zoom sessions is them become more comfortable with one another, more willing, and have a bigger desire to pray for each other and to pray about things. In our youth group, they look out for one another and they pray for each other as well. And so just seeing these little communities building up during this time just gives me such joy. And so I would say to persevere with building a community, because that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to live in community with each other, in communion with one another, and communion with Him. And so when we have our relationship with God going up and down like this, and we're in communion with him, then we're able to share our relationship on a horizontal level with those around us. So that's my top tip for a Sunday school teacher. Build a community. Make the relationship with you and your Sunday school class or the children that you're working with so tight that you're always looking out for each other and making sure that everybody's all right. Make sure to, one of the things that I'd like to do is if I've been speaking to a child, I write a note down if they've said something of interest that I know I'm going to want to come back to, because obviously I see so many children that it's impossible for you to remember everything. So I just write myself a little note, and then just writing it helps me to remember, but occasionally I'll look back and I'll be like, oh yeah, they had this big test. So for example, one of our kids has been trying to get into a grammar school and she's been sitting school exams, entrance exams, and so it was good to go back, and she was like, oh, you remembered that I had an exam. And that speaks volumes to the kids, because we're trying to look out for them, build a community, we're praying for you, and know that we really are praying for you. We're not just saying it, we're actually praying for you. So that's my top tip: build a community. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I posted the video last week about Jesus being baptized and talking about how baptism is not what makes you a Christian. And it's really weird, because I was then writing a lesson that same week. I was writing my lesson on what was I writing the lesson? On Jesus healing the paralysed man from Luke 5. And I kind of like thought, oh, what I did about Jesus and the baptism was awful, so feel free to disregard that video. I'm kind of like, I don't know whether to remove my products in the TPT store or not. I might just leave it, but I don't think now it's my best work. Only because when I got to talking about Jesus having the power to forgive, it was what I was saying then with the soap was much, much better. Anyway, so today I'm talking about this. This is, I don't know if you can tell, this I'm going to be talking about our kids that we're working with on weeknights. We're talking about Acts chapter 13 today, and how we don't want to be conformed to things of the world, but to be formed by God. And so I've got some air dry clay here that I'm going to make into a little model for the children. I probably need to do a little bit of practicing because I'm not very good at this. But the point is that this clay is pliable. I can bend it, I can shape it, I can mould it. And we want to be bent and shaped and moulded by God, because the Bible tells us that God is the potter and that we are the clay. And so I thought this was a really good way to illustrate to the children about how we need to be transformed by God and be shaped and moulded by him. And I'm going to talk about influencers as well. And we talked about this with our youth, because the word influencer is quite a new term. It's not something that when I was a kid you would have talked about, but only because social media is the thing now. And so we've got TikTok, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Facebook, YouTube, probably other things that I don't even know about. And I was explaining to the kids that I don't have TikTok, but I'd watched this TikTok on how you make this tortilla wrap, and it has 4 different toppings and you layer them all up and you heat it on either side, and how great it was. And I was influenced by the person that made it. And then I explained that I'd been watching a YouTube video, and this woman had been talking about these vegan jelly sweets. And my husband and I are both vegetarian, and we miss not being able to eat Haribo sweets or jelly sweets because of the gelatin in them. And she was talking about this amazing place that makes these sweets and that they're vegan friendly and everything. And so I was influenced by her to go online and find this company and buy from them. So I was saying to the kids that we can be influenced, and there was nothing wrong with that, being influenced by these people. But what would be wrong is if I just kept continuing to eat those sweets and not eat anything else. And so things that can be a good influence can actually have a negative impact in our life as well. And so we need to be very careful of who we allow to influence us. So we then talked about who in our life influence us, what social media, does television influence us, do the people that we hang out with influence us? And it brought about a really good discussion about that. And the conclusion was that in order to be influenced by God, we need to read the word and get ourselves into that every single day, and to surround ourselves with other believers, because they will want to edify us and encourage us and build us up. And so it was a really, really great time with our youth, and we're going to be talking about that in another level, a bit simpler, with our younger children this week as well. So the last thing that I'm going to show you today is that I'm starting work on our Easter products, and we're going to be playing bingo. We always play bingo. Normally we would play bingo once a term, and it's theme related. So if we were doing space theme, then it would be a space themed bingo. If we were doing the Olympics, it would be an Olympic themed bingo. But we're not doing any kind of themed stuff because we've got no backdrops. We're virtual, and so we don't have any props or anything like that at the moment. And so we are doing just going to be doing Easter. So I have created an Easter bingo, and so there are 55 bingo cards in this resource. Oops, that's not very good, you can't see it. 55. I've just printed them and cut them out. So this is a cool game because our little kids can play. So we have some children that come that are maybe 4, and they might not be brilliant at reading, but they can tell what it is because it's got a picture and a word. Sorry, using my phone so that everything's reversed. But so I've got 55 of these that are completely different. There's no two the same, and it's all things that they would find in the Easter story. And so we'll be playing that at Easter. So there's 55 bingo cards, and then there are these flashcards as well. So if you were playing it in person, you might not, or you might want to just print off the flashcards. So it's got the big picture with, oh, that one's upside down, these animals. And so I've drawn all of these clip art myself. So we've got the Roman guard here. And so I think there's 16 different images to play the game. And as I say, 55 bingo cards, which is really good. And what I like to do is I like to print off the bingo cards and post them out to kids. We're making up a mail packet for the kids this week. We've got a few other resources that we want to send out to them that can just go out in an envelope. And so it's nice. Kids love getting stuff through the post addressed to them. So we'll send that out to them this week. And their bingo card will be included in that. And then we'll play it on Zoom, but we'll be using a PowerPoint. So in my product on Teachers Pay Teachers, that you'll be able to get the bingo cards, the flashcards, and the PowerPoint as well. So the PowerPoint will be part of the package. And then you can play it on Zoom. And it's great to just have the kids play it. And then what they do is they have to match all 9 images, and then they can shout bingo, and we give a prize to the winner. And so that's it. That's my resource for this week, and it'll be in my TPT store when this video goes live, so make sure the link will be in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you have a great week. If nobody's told you yet, know that you are the apple of God's eye and that he loves you very much. Take care. Bye bye.